awesome. Welcome to another episode of Sparring Sessions, podcast where we talk all things MMA, combat sports, maybe a little more this episode. We'll see. But first, I'm bringing my co-hosts. That's right. I got a crew today. First up, Big Will. How you doing?
What's going on, man? What's going on? Happy to be here.
Great to have you back. We got Bed Will today.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted Tesla Will, but Bed Will.
Hey, man, we got some office stuff coming in the mail, so.
Love it. And then, of course, Jeannie, too. How you doing, Jeannie?
I'm not bad. Ready to break some fights down.
Yeah, you sound super enthused. I'm guessing that has to do with what we'll talk about in a second. But first, I'm going to tell you what we're doing here today. We are breaking down UFC Mexico, Moreno versus Erceg, predictions, preview. We'll mention the betting lines. We'll have a separate bets podcast, though, and a few more things from the week that's been and the week ahead. First, though, UFC London, Edwards versus Brady went down. Well, little spoiler, we're recording this Sunday morning, so it went down last afternoon, last nightish, depending on where you were. A few other things went down over the weekend. We had a huge one card, a bunch of names there. NCAA wrestling had their championships. We had LFA, we had Cage Warriors, a number of things. So I'm going to ask both of you. I'm going to start with you first, Will. What was your favorite thing from the weekend? One thing you want to mention while we're recapping this weekend?
Shit, I'm going to have to. Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is Gabriel Stevenson losing. That was a huge upset. A lot of people won't care about it, but, it's just that was one of the biggest upsets ever.
Yeah.
And then, I have to go with Sean Brady on how he, took the blueprint of Bilal and Kamaru Usman for the most part and made it better.
Yeah.
He finished Leon Edwards, and I don't believe Leon's ever been submitted. I don't think so. And he just he made it look effortless, man. He grinded him down, and Sean Brady says, "If you have a neck, I can choke you out." So he made it happen.
I believe that was the first time Leon Edwards had ever been finished. I think his only losses were decisions against Usman and Claudio Silva. Oh, and he got a DQ, so I guess he's been finished.
What did he get DQ'd for?
Illegal knee in his third professional fight. So,
oh, God.
You stole one of the big ones I was interested in talking about, but we'll get to it in a second. Jeannie, what about you? What do you got from this weekend?
Does it have to be my favorite? Can I say my least favorite thing from this last card?
Or let's go notable. How about that?
Yeah. The judging was just I thought it was pretty atrocious this last card. It was just the highlight of the night for me, how the judges just can completely ruin a fighter's night. Like Nathan Fletcher, I thought should have won. I thought Mick Parkin probably should have won.
Mick Parkin was minus 800 at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just incredible.
The Parkin, I thought Herbert won.
Laframe was easy though, Jeannie. Sorry.
I did think Fletcher won. I saw some people had issues with the Jan Oberg decision. I thought that was fine. I mean, you could give it to Jan if you want, but
it was kind of a nothing burger fight, man. Nothing really happened. It was just razor pitter pat close.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. I thought Jan won 2-1, but I mean it was so close that it was.
Yeah.
I didn't have much invested in it.
Completely agree. For me, I thought the Brady one was great. The Gable thing, that was phenomenal. Minus 5,000 he was.
Jesus Christ. I didn't even think of that.
For
the odds, man.
For you non-wrestling people, he's an Olympic gold medalist, and he came back to college to wrestle like 20-year-old.
It's his 15th year. It's his 15th year of eligibility.
It is, and this is he's my age. He's 24, and somebody said it was like Venus Williams winning Wimbledon and then going back to college to fight or to play some random collegiate tournament. And so that was something else. That was crazy. And then also want to give a quick shout out to one Superlek got he lost to Nabil Rodson KO Takeru. Bunch of notable things happened on that card.
Adriano Moraes got finished too.
Adriano Moraes got finished. That was crazy. Nobody was able to watch it because the one pay-per-view crapped out, but seems like people are getting refunds. So.
It was exciting to read about it, though. You know, just reading it on the paper, man. It was like I was there.
Yeah, seeing all the copyrighted clips on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, it was a pretty good weekend of fights. And whatever you want to call grappling matches. But that is all for the weekend. Let's jump now into UFC Mexico. It's what we're here to preview. Moreno versus Erceg. You see it right there. Going down in Arena CDMX, Ciudad Mexico City. That is in Mexico, of course. 4 p.m. Eastern start time for the prelim, 7 p.m. Eastern for the main card. We got 13 fights, a lot of fights. Only 3 out of the 26 were ranked. I thought that was kind of strange. A number of fights, however you want to call them, the kind of like the Anthony Smith, Roman Dolidze fights, just weird mashups. Loopy Godinez in for Jasmine Haragi versus Polastri, and Polastri was in for Haragi versus Diony Barbosa. So both sides go out. Same with Hubbard was in. Austin Hubbard was in for Elvis Brenner and Brenner was in for Zellhuber, and now Mederos is in for Zellhuber. So we get Mederos versus Hubbard as that final fight. Vince Pichel is in for Joaquin Silva versus Rafa Garcia, and that is also kind of a strange path to get here. Not really any fights. I mean, maybe you guys will disagree, but not any fights that maybe Brenner versus Zellhuber was good. Can be good, but I didn't really need to see any of those. So what we got's fine. I'll kick it to you first, Cheney. Give me an overall rating of the card.
5.5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10.
Okay. Is it the length of the card? Is it the fighters? What is it?
I mean, there's names on here, but I feel like it's just like the matchups are kind of lacking. Some of them, they're just, yeah.
And what did you give London? Remind everybody.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, fair enough. Will, what about you? Give me a grade.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I think it'll perform better than the London card did. Like I said in the group chat earlier, there was no knockouts on the card. Just some spotty decisions and some uninspiring submissions.
Yeah.
You know, not too much to say. Not too much to say about last week's card. The only highlight I can really think of is Molly McCann retiring and Sean Brady submitting Leon, and there we go. But anyways, this card, Mexico City usually always turns out to be a really damn good card.
Yeah.
You're gonna see some differences because of the elevation, that throws a wrench into every matchup. And I think isn't Mexico City has a higher elevation than Denver and
Utah,
Salt Lake. I think they have a higher elevation than that. So we can see people that are known as cardio machines really gas out in 6-7 minutes. So, but you never really know when it's going to happen or who it's going to happen to. So tread lightly. When these cards are at elevation, if you're looking at throwing money down, I would half your units.
Yeah, that's where we get the classic C-level Kane.
Yeah, it's just I'm really not a fan. I don't think I should even do fight cards at such high elevation because it really destroys people.
It does.
It's like 6,000 feet above sea level. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, something like that.
It's not great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably give it a B minus. London was a B. I think it's a good card, kind of lacking in you got Moreno and Erceg. Those are some good names, but for the most part, you're kind of lacking unless you count Kelvin Gastelum, and I don't count Kelvin Gastelum. But let's jump right into it. First fight of the night, lightweight, Austin Hubbard, plus 165 versus MarQuel Mederos, minus 190. Again, this is kind of short notice for both. Weird circumstances. Will, you're breaking this one down first in a second. So I'm sure we'll hear about those weird circumstances. But first, Hubbard is 4-6, coming off a split decision loss to Alexander Hernandez. This is his second stint. He came back in off a tough. He lost to Halba in the finals a year or two ago. We were actually there, Will. He is 5 years older than MarQuel Mederos. MarQuel is 1-0 in the UFC, 1-0 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision win versus Landon Quinones. A lot of people didn't think he won. So since we had 3 people, this isn't a star-studded card. We're going to do the tried and true method, just going around. Or we're rotating here. So Will, you're going to kick us off first with your breakdown of this fight. Jeannie and I will kind of just give our picks. Maybe if we have anything to say, we'll say it. But you're the one breaking down the fight, so let's hear it.
I don't think there's too much to say about it. We kind of know what we're going to get from Austin Hubbard. He's going to, he'll strike a little bit. He'll grapple a little bit. He ultimately definitely wants to hold you against the cage or get you down. He is like I said earlier, uninspiring type of fighter to me. He's fighting a guy that mainly wants to strike, and I think if he can fend off being held against the cage or taken down, I think he's gonna pot shot his way to victory or TKO him later in the second half of the fight. I don't think much of Hubbard. I don't think Mederos is that great either. He's been hopping around in matchups lately, which I don't really understand. Pulling out of this fight, pulling out of that fight, coming weeks earlier than when he was pulling out. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But if he shows up, 80%, I think he can handle Austin Hubbard. So I'm gonna go Mederos. I'm just gonna go with Mederos to win.
Yeah. I am picking Mederos. Not confident at all. Almost losing to Landon Quinones. Red flags, but not much to say here either. Jeannie, you going opposite us?
I've got Mederos as well.
Yeah. Seems like kind of a nothing fight. Probably a weird decision win for Mederos or something. Next one, if I can click it, should be. There we go. Should be a little more exciting. Featherweights. Jamall Emmers is a plus 180 versus Gabriel Miranda minus 218. Emmers is 3-4 in the UFC, coming off a KO victory. Oh, sorry. I believe I have these odds flipped, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let me fix them real quick. Minus 218 and plus 180. If Jamall Emmers was a plus 180, I'd feel a lot better about this. There we go. Featherweight. Jamall Emmers minus 218 versus Gabriel Miranda plus 180. Emmers is 3-4 in the UFC, coming off a KO loss versus Nate Landwehr a year ago.
I was there, baby.
Were you?
Yes, sir. It was Atlantic City. It was awesome. It was awesome to see. Not a great card, but that was a great finish.
It was goofy too. Emmers has 3 inches of reach over Miranda. Miranda's 1-2 in the UFC, coming off that KO loss versus Morgan Chaírez, who just saw in UFC London. Jeannie, this one's you. Let's hear it.
So Gabriel Miranda, I mean, that loss to Morgan Chaírez is not looking good anymore. Chaírez looked pretty bad last night, and he's a killer be killed guy. Jamall Emmers, he's got a lot of knockout wins. I think this is pretty much if Jamall Emmers can't get a KO win in the first round, Gabriel Miranda probably gets a submission, but I'm going to say Jamall Emmers gets it done early on with a KO.
Fair enough. Well, anything to add?
I'm a little bit more confident in Emmers. I think Emmers is going to smoke Miranda. I think you're probably getting Emmers at a discount because I think odds will probably go up even more. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in Emmers. I think he's pretty damn good. Miranda, I think he's one of those guys that got brought in for what was it? One of those European cards or something. I don't know. He's not great. He's shown that. Albeit he's fought some all right competition, but yeah, I think Emmers is going to smoke him.
Yeah, his only UFC win is Shane Young, and it's not like he was, blowing it up on the regional scene either. So I am with you, Will. I'm with both of you, but I'm with you in that I'm more confident in this one. This one I am extremely confident in. Lightweight, Rafa Garcia minus 45 versus Pichel plus 370.
Boy.
Garcia is 4-4 in the UFC, coming off a TKO loss to Grant Dawson. Pichel on the other side, 7-4 in the UFC on a 2-fight losing streak, coming off the unanimous decision loss to Ismail Bonfim. He's only fought twice since 2021, and you look at the topology, most of it's him pulling out injuries, that kind of thing. And it makes sense. He is 12 years older. He's 42 or 44, one of the two. 42. And this one's me. I'm going Rafa Garcia. I mean, you can't pick the super old guy who has a bunch of injuries. We saw that. I mean, Jan didn't look horrible, but this is not light heavyweight, and Vince Pichel is not Jan Blachowicz. So I think Garcia is going to smoke him. I could see this going to a decision. I kind of wrote down tentatively Garcia by decision just because Pichel is tough. I mean, he's only lost by knockout once, and that was way back in the day to like a slam. Maybe Garcia gets his wrestling going. I don't really see that. Yeah, he could actually. I wrote down he probably gets 3 takedowns. Doesn't like hold him down or anything though. Probably doesn't get a ton of submissions going. So I'm going Garcia decision. Gene.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. You can't be confident in a 42-year-old to win a fight.
No.
I was saying that last week, and I'll say it again this week. We're going with Rafa Garcia.
Well,
I agree. Yeah, Rafa's going to win this. They're actually really similar in how they fight, but you got to take the guy that's a lot younger.
yeah, rack up some significant strikes, rack up some takedowns. Good enough. Next up, a ranked fighter. Not a ranked fight. Weird one. Women's strawweight. Loopy Godinez, a number 11 ranked Loopy Godinez, -175 against Julia Polastri, +145. It's going to be your turn, Will. These odds surprise me. I'm going to want to hear your thoughts. Godinez, 7-5 in the UFC, 2-fight losing streak. Coming off a unanimous decision loss to Mackenzie Dern. So none, high competition in that losing streak. Polastri 1-1 in the UFC, coming off a split decision win over Corey McKenna. Yeah, Will, kind of a weird fight, weird odds.
Weird how? I want to ask you that. Weird how?
I thought this would be -400 in Loopy Godinez.
Oh, we're on the same page. I think Loopy's gonna smoke this girl.
Yeah.
I like Loopy. She arguably won both of her last fights. They're pretty close competitions. I think Loopy. I wouldn't be surprised if Loopy fights for a title one day. I really believe that. I like her a lot. I think she's got I think sometimes she has a mean streak in the like. Look at I know she's horrible, but at least read. She looked mean in that fight.
Yeah.
Like when she's on, she's on. I think if she comes in here with a game plan of I'm gonna take this girl down, I think she can have a field day taking her down. I think she could win on the feet. I love Loopy Godinez at this price, especially. I'm a big fan of hers. So yeah, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Loopy got a finish in here.
Mm-hmm.
She's pissed off because the last 2 decisions really haven't gone her way. But yeah, I'm definitely confident in Loopy winning. So I don't have too much to say about Polastri. She's not super talented in my opinion. But if you're going close fights with Corey McKenna, it's just not. I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely confident in Loopy. I'm a big Loopy guy here. Sounds like we're a big Loopy big pod on Loopy.
Well, let's hear it, Jamie.
Yeah, I think Loopy wins as well. I've been picking her in her last couple fights. I thought she possibly won that Mackenzie Dern fight, and she's had really close fights. She's incredible. I think she's going to take this over Julia Polastri, and yeah, -175. It's a good line too.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think Palastri's look good against McKenna, kind of, just because she was way bigger. And you said that Elise Reed fight, her hands are coming along too. She got a knockdown in that fight as well as 5 takedowns and 6 submission attempts. So
yeah, she looked like she wanted to tear her head off in that fight. So
yeah, looking good for our girl. Next up, this one, I'm kind of jealous you get to talk about it, Jeannie. I think this was the fight I said one of the fights I was excited for last week. Featherweights, Christian Rodriguez, -155 versus Melquizael Costa +130. Rodriguez is 5-2 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision win over Austin Bashi. Fun fact, he is 1-2 in the UFC to guys with at least one loss. So 4-0 against undefeated fighters. And Costa, he has a loss. 3-2 in the UFC on a 2-fight win streak. He's coming off that Gailey victory versus Andre Fili a month ago. So kind of a short turnaround for him. Jeannie, I'm curious. I'm really curious.
This might be controversial. I don't know if you guys know my opinion on Christian Rodriguez, but I'm not a huge fan of him. I've been picking against him in a lot of these slots. I thought Bashi would get him. I thought I actually picked him to beat Julian Erosa, funny enough. But, Bulgarian, Cameron Saimon, Raul Rosas, all these guys I picked to beat Christian Rodriguez. And I think Melky, man, I really like this guy. He's throwing up subs when he's getting taken down against Andre Fili. It was a guillotine, right, that he got. And
Philly just kind of said, "Here, take my neck."
Yeah. But man, Julian Erosa tapped him out in the first round and made Christian Rodriguez look like a little boy. I think Melky's gonna strangle him, and he's gonna lace up a sub at some point, and he's gonna make Christian Rodriguez cry.
Will, any?
Yeah, man, I like Costa. It's a good underdog pick here. I love saying that I was there at a fight that you guys mentioned. It makes me happy. But yeah, I was there when he got choked out by Erosa in Denver. Me and Hack, watching our boy Evan Elder fight that we'll speak about here in a few weeks. But yeah, man, yeah, I agree. I like Costa as an underdog. Christian Rodriguez, he's just. Man, I feel like he fights not to lose, or like he just tries to fend off what his like. I just don't feel like he does much other than defending what the person's doing. It's just very, very annoying to watch sometimes. But yeah, I like Costa.
Yeah, you guys hear sirens? You hear that? It sounds like we have our underdog of the week.
Oh,
okay.
I'd be fucking confused.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, Costa, he's way bigger. You said the Erosa fight. Erosa was just way bigger. I mean, he took him down, and it took 50 seconds less to choke out Rodriguez. And Costa, he took down. I mean, he ended up losing that fight, but he took Steve Garcia. I was going to say Rafa Garcia, but they didn't fight. They haven't fought. He took down Steve Garcia twice. He took down Shaylin Nurdan twice, and he's just going to be way bigger. I mean, he
used to fight at lightweight. He was fighting. Who was he fighting? What is his name?
Moises.
Yeah, I mean that's Moises ain't no puny dude. So I mean, yeah, I'd like to see how they look on the scales because I think Rodriguez can probably still make 135 if he tried.
Yeah. Next up, middleweights. Abeta Gautier minus 550 versus Jose Daniel Medina plus 410. We'll start with Medina. He's 0-1 in the UFC, 0-1 in Dana White's Contender Series, so that's a 2-fight losing streak. He was one of those. I loved how tough you are versus, is that Gauthier? Yeah. And on the Contender Series, and Dana's like, oh, got to bring him in, that Bolivian toughness, whatever. Yeah, he is 11 years older than Gautier, and Gautier, whatever, is coming off a KO win on Contender Series. He's 6-1 in his career. He has a 4-inch height advantage and a 6.5-inch reach advantage. He is from Cameroon as well, in case you guys were wondering. Which is why I said Gautier. Maybe they're Frenching it up. I think. I'm going with Gautier. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like minus 550 for a debut guy. I mean, especially one who gets all of his wins by KO pretty much. And Medina's never been KO'd. We'll talk about another guy later in the card, but his only loss is by submission 8 years ago. And he's not good, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to win, but I don't know. This is one I'm definitely not, backing up the Brinks trucks minus 550, or I'm not looking at KO either because this is seems like a trap fight. We saw a few weeks ago. We saw Musasa lose, same kind of deal, right? Maybe
exactly what I was thinking, dude.
a little
Honestly,
different. So yeah, Gautier probably wins. He probably just beats him up for 3 rounds. Maybe he like drops the third if he gets tired, but kind of an unknown. Will, it sounded like you had some thoughts. Are you fully picking Medina, or are you just?
man, dude, I don't hate Medina. I don't hate Medina as a pick, honestly. I wonder what his gas tank is like. I don't really know what his gas tank's like. I guess I'll have to rewatch that Contender Series fight, and I also, man, like he's only got 7 fights.
Yeah.
Like that's not much, man. Uh, and think about the time in the gym. Medina's been in the gym a lot longer than this guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Medina out volumes him and gets him late. So I think the odds are a little bit miffed. But for all intents and purposes, I'll take Medina. Sure.
All right, Genie, where are you going?
I'm probably on Gautier's side. I don't think you can pick a KO anymore against Medina.
No.
I don't think you can. Medina's chin needs to be studied by science. He's got something in there that it's just it needs to be banned. His chin needs to be banned by an athletic commission. Ooh. But I think Gautier is going to take home a decision win. Probably he's just going to beat him up, take home a decision, maybe get a knockdown at some point.
Maybe, yeah, I could see it. All right, next one. We'll try to breeze through these next ones. This is not the hour-long podcast card. I'll tell you that. Flyweights: Edgar Chaírez versus CJ Vergara. Chaírez a big favorite, -258. That being said, he's 1-2 in the UFC with 1 no contest. He's coming off a unanimous decision loss to Joshua Van at the Sphere. He has 4 inches of reach over Vergara, who himself is 3-4 in the UFC on a 2-fight losing streak. Most recently got knocked out by not Almabayev, Temerov. This is is this you, Will?
Yeah, it's me.
What kind of weird odds? What are you thinking here?
I think this fight should be a pick 'em, man. Chaírez's only wins in the UFC are against Daniel Lacerda, and you know who also beat Daniel Lacerda? CJ Vergara. I don't know. I kind of like CJ in the spot. He's gritty. I don't know. Could Edgar lock up a submission? Sure. And that's something we've seen Vergara, lose to in the past, but I don't think he should be this big of a favorite over Vergara because, we haven't seen much of Chaírez in the UFC. We've seen much more of Vergara. I don't really have much to say besides I do think that the odds should be closer. I do like CJ's chances. It just really depends on how both of them show up. And yeah, I mean, oof. It's a tough fight, man, and yeah, I'm gonna go CJ. I think CJ can outdog him.
All right, Genie.
I think I'm going Chaírez. I'm not crazy confident in it, but I don't think I'm gonna pick CJ Vergara. I think I'm more confident in Edgar Chaírez to get like a submission win maybe sometime in this fight. But I'm not confident either way. But I think I'm on the side of Chaírez.
Yeah. I wrote down Vergara decision, and I crossed it out, and I wrote down Chaírez, and I erased it, and I wrote down Vergara. I'm back to Chaírez. It's going to be a weird fight. Both of them kind of suck, so take the guy with a slightly longer reach who can wrestle, I guess. We don't need to spend any more time on it, though. Jumping up to the main card, flyweights. Ronaldo Rodriguez, -155 versus Kevin Borjas, +130. Rodriguez is 2-0 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision win versus Ode Osborne. Is he 2-0? I'm doubting myself now. I think I wrote that down. No, he is 2-0. Okay, I forgot about the Bondar fight. All right, I'm tripping. Rodriguez 2-0 in the UFC, coming off a unanimous decision win versus Ode Osborne, 2-fight UFC win streak. Borjas on the other side, 0-2 in the UFC, coming off a TKO loss to Alexandre Costa. 2-fight losing streak. Before that, he lost to Joshua Van. 3 inches of reach over Ronaldo Rodriguez. Genie, where are we going with this?
Do you guys remember what happened in Rodriguez Ode Osborne in the first round? You remember Ode Osborne just knocking him down and beating him up?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think I'm going to pick Rodriguez anyways in this fight. I think he's going to get a submission probably. Borjas is not an incredible fighter.
Borjas?
Yeah, what'd you say?
I said I'm going to go with Rodriguez to get a...
No. Before that?
Who's he fighting?
Borjas.
Clip it.
All right. I think he's going to get a submission win probably sometime in this fight. Get some control time and get him down and find his neck. Borjas has been submitted before, and Rodriguez submitted Bondar and has a lot of submission wins on his record. But I'm not too confident. I mean, Rodriguez did get knocked down and nearly finished in his last fight. So
yeah, this is another one. Same thing as the Vergara fight, last fight. No idea what's going to happen. You tell me anything happened in this fight, I'd believe you. Will?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if either guy wins. They're just both kind of nothing burgers to me in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can move on.
All right, let's do it. The fight I'm very excited about, bantamweights. David Martinez minus 395 versus Saimon Oliveira plus 310. Martinez is 11-1, making his debut off a unanimous decision win on the Contender Series. Oliveira on the other side, 0-2 in the UFC, coming off a TKO loss to Daniel Marcos 2 years ago. That was surprising to me.
Wow.
He is on a 2-fight losing streak, and those 2 being in the UFC, and he is 7 years older. I'll make this short and sweet. Martinez is going to kill him. Martinez, I'm a huge fan. I was huge on him going to the Contender Series. Combate champion. He's one of those guys that like you just hear about for years, and he was stuck in a contract for a while, and he finally got out and got to the Contender Series. And I think he's just going to put it on Saimon Oliveira. I mean, Oliveira is he has a little bit of a reach advantage. We've seen that that's not always that doesn't tell the story. I think Dave Martinez is better than Tony Gravely. He might be better than Daniel Marcos, honestly. And both of them, handled Saimon Oliveira. And Oliveira doesn't really have any wins that scream, oh, this guy can beat a prospect. I mean, Wagner Farias. Okay, I'm jumping on my shoes for Jose all day. So I'm really, really excited for Martinez's debut in Mexico, too. That's a great call. Will.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Martinez is going to smoke him. There's just, like you said, we've heard about him for a while. Glad he, finally has made it to the big show, and I think he's going to put on a performance.
Yeah. Jeannie?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Martinez as well. Probably a highlight reel knockout win here.
I could see that. I could see it going late, too. Martinez is just kind of guy who puts it on you, So maybe I'm not rushing to the KO line, but I love Martinez. All right. Will, you get this one. This is going to be an interesting one, actually. I'm intrigued. Raul Rosas Jr. minus 310 versus Vince Morales plus 250. Bantamweights, baby. Love bantamweight. Rosas is 4-1 in the UFC on a 3-fight winning streak. He's coming off a unanimous decision win versus a Richie Lang at the Sphere. Morales on the other side, 3-7 in the UFC, coming off that UD loss to Elijah Smith. Close fight, though. This is his second stint in the UFC, and he is on a 2-fight losing streak, 4-fight UFC losing streak. So if you go back to his original stint, 14 years older. He's not like super old, but Raul Rosas is 20, so you're going to be older than him. If you're fighting him, 3 inches of reach over Rosas and plenty of experience too. All right, some technical difficulties there. Police found out where Will's house is. They broke down the door and got swatted. All right, Will, Rosas versus Morales. We're back. Where are you going in this fight?
Dude, who hates Vince Morales in the UFC, man? They just keep giving him matchups that are just very similar. And I'm sure there'll be a couple scary moments for Rosas in terms of submissions, but I have to go Rosas decision.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the odds aren't wider than they are, just because he just fought and he kind of got the shit beat out of him. Yeah, I think Rosas is gonna win. Because I want to bet on Vince Morales. I'll tell you that, but
Yeah.
it's just hard. It's hard to do it in this matchup. It really is. But yeah, short and sweet. I'm going Rosas.
Yeah. Jeannie, I imagine you're with him.
I got Rosas as well. Yeah, I think he's gonna out grapple Vince Morales' decision.
Yeah, I mean the odds they changed a little bit in the days since I wrote it down. Minus 285 for Rosas now, so they're actually going down. But yeah, the over 2.5. I just looked; they must have just dropped minus 200 on the over 2.5. So I think I'm in agreement. I think everybody is Rosas by decision. So yeah, not much to say there. Now this fight's going to be interesting to talk about. Middleweight, Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Pyfer, a huge favorite, minus 550. This kind of shocked me, I'll be honest. Kelvin Gastelum plus 410. Gastelum 13-9 in the UFC with 1 no contest. Coming off that unanimous decision win versus D-Rod, where he cheated. Not only did he cheat in the fight with eye pokes and nut shots, the fight was at welterweight. And he's like, yeah, I'm just not going to make welterweight, so let's make it a middleweight fight. So he didn't miss weight. But then D-Rod already had cut weight. I would be less pissed if Gastelum hadn't posted like, we're going to go do a mukbang at my local taco shop the month before.
I forgot about that.
Insane.
And so he's not technically coming up in weight. That being said, he is 5 years older. Pyfer is 4-1 in the UFC, coming off a TKO win over Marc-Andre Barrial. 3 inches of reach and a 5-inch height advantage for Pyfer. Where we at, Jeannie? I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I'm on Joe Pyfer.
Yeah.
Do you guys think he's gonna knock out Kelvin Gastelum?
No.
No.
I think he's gonna submit him.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that. Kelvin's never been knocked out though, but I mean the submission would be a crazy thing to hit. Probably either a decision or a submission, I guess. But most of the people on Topology, it looks like, are picking them by KO.
I don't think he's gonna knock out Kelvin. If Kelvin's fought actually bigger hitters and better fighters, way better fighters than Joe Pyfer, at least right now, and not gotten knocked out. But Sean Brady took him down 5 times and submitted him, and their Pyfer and Brady are teammates. I think they're still teammates, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pyfer's going to be a lot bigger than Kelvin. Whatever that says on there, watch the face-offs. He's going to look like he's 2 weight classes bigger than Kelvin. I think Joe Pyfer has a really talented grappling game that I think people don't think about because he gets highlight knockouts. Like, how do you think a fight with Kelvin and Marc-Andre Barrial will go? That would be pretty competitive, don't you? Do you think?
At this point, I'd probably pick Kelvin.
Okay, all right, but I just I'm just trying to maybe I'm grasping straws. I don't know.
No, you're making sense.
I think Kelvin would have close fights with these guys. Kelvin's a little bit older. He's been through some wars. He's at a weight class he shouldn't be at. Yeah, I mean, I think Pyfer's got it going. I think he could hurt Kelvin and wrap something up. Wouldn't be surprised.
No. I mean, Darren Till took him down. Ian Heinisch took him down. Bobby Knuckles took him down 4 times. Sean Brady took him down a weight class. I think Pyfer should kind of wrestle here. Maybe if he tries to knock him out and guess out, maybe he could lose a round. But yeah. And he took Al Hassan down 3 times and then subbed him. So yeah, pretty cut and dry for Pyfer. Don't love the odds though, I'll be honest.
Yeah, definitely not great.
Odds here surprised me too. Lightweights, co-main event, Manuel Torres. The hometown crowd will go crazy for him. Minus 112 versus Drew Dober, -108. Torres is 3-1 in the UFC. He's coming off a TKO loss to Ignacio Bahamondes at the Sphere. Bahamondes is now ranked. Not a crazy loss to have. 3 inches of reach over Drew Dober. Dober is 13-10 in the UFC with 1 no contest. Coming off a TKO loss to John Silva, 2-fight losing streak. He is 6 years older than Torres. This one is me. Oh, I love this. I get to talk about how unconfident I am in this fight. But how I think Manuel Torres is going to win a decision over Drew Dober. I could see submission. Dober just got wrestled by Ronaldo Moicano. Not a ton of significant strikes there. Torres, he might try to strike for the first round, but he got 2 takedowns on Chris Duncan and subbed him. He had a little bit of control time over Colton England, I think. I was looking, he had a little bit of control time over somebody. I think he kind of takes him down. We've seen Dober's not great on the ground, and hopefully somebody in Torres' camp's like, yeah, you can just take him down and grapple him for 3 rounds or until you get a sub. Would I pick him in a striking match? Maybe.
Coming off of a knockout loss.
What? He's coming off a knockout loss. That being said, Dober isn't like a huge. He has KOs recently, but KO'd Ricky Glenn and King Green and Rafael Alves, but that was late. Terrence McKinney, but that was kind of a weird fight. So you can put asterisks on a lot of these. I'm going Manuel Torres. Not super confident though. I'll kick Genie first though. Are you going the other way?
No, I'm on Manuel Torres. I'm probably thinking a submission or a decision here. I think he's going to be hesitant on the feet after getting knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
In his last fight.
Yeah,
he's going to play it a bit safer.
I don't think he's going to be hesitant. He's fighting a big guy with a big name, and I think he's going to go out there and try to make a statement, which I think will get him caught. I like the under 1.5 in there. I think someone's going to get slept bad, and I think it'll be Torres.
Okay, under 1.5, -170 already. I mean, Torres pretty much has hit that. Well, he has hit that every time, but interesting. I did not see that Dober pick coming from you, Will. Yeah, not super confident. I just kind of need a little Mexicano action. It's maybe it's not going. It's up and down for them at that point probably. Oh yeah, a little sombrerito.
Yeah.
I am actually going to Mexico City in a few months, so I would love to have a great UFC event to talk about. So,
Nice.
Main event. Maybe we'll do a little round table for this one. There's only one left. We can kind of each give our thoughts on this. Moreno versus Erceg, flyweights. Number 2 ranked Brandon Moreno is -190 against number 8 ranked Steve Erceg, +160. Moreno is the Mexican hometown hero. Talking to some Mexican UFC fans of mine, he is like even bigger than Alexa Grasso still, especially where they're going to be fighting, and people love him. Like he gave a TED talk last year, apparently, and it like sold out. It was the biggest in the arena history or something. He's 10-5 and two draws in there in the UFC. He's a former champ 2 times over, coming off a unanimous decision win over, I'm blanking on his name.
Albazi.
Amir Albazi. Thank you, Jeannie. Erceg on the other side, 3-2 in the UFC, 2-fight losing streak after having a very close fight with the champion. I'll go last here since I kind of stole the show from Will. But Will, you can go first. We're each going to give our breakdown, but you start. You kick us off.
Wow. I think this is going to be one of those Brandon decisions. Where you want to bet on Brandon's money line, you want to bet on Brandon's significant strikes. I think these guys are just going to, strike it out on the feet for the most part. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this. I think it's pretty cut and dry. I think Moreno is probably going to, outclass Erceg on the feet. Erceg might have moments, but I think overall, Moreno will definitely be the one throwing out more things in combination and having more substance to his shots. Yeah, I'm gonna go for Moreno decision. I don't know what his significant strike line will be, but whatever it is, I'll probably take it. I think against Albazi it was like 120 or something, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna take it, and he got it. So
I'm gonna be interested. I think it's gonna be high. He's pretty high average, and I think this one's going long as well. Sorry to make you go last, Cheney, but I'm going Moreno. Go decision. I think he mixed in the takedowns a little bit. Erceg got taken down 9 times versus Pantoja. Moreno's hit a takedown or 2, except for Albazi. He didn't take down Albazi, which I thought was funny, but he got 3 versus Roybal, 2 versus Pantoja, 3 versus Figgy, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I think it goes late. Maybe he hits a quick submission, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
Jeannie, I know you were undecided on this one.
I get caught up thinking Brandon Moreno's older than he is. He's only 31 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fight years. Yeah. He's super old though.
Steven Erceg, man, if he defended one more takedown against Pantoja in that 5th round, he could have been champion.
Yeah.
He could have been champion. That's the crazy thing. But it's so tough because especially we don't know how he's going to be after Kai Kara France knocked him out.
No.
And Brandon Moreno is he's a better striker on the feet than Pantoja is. And I think this fight's going to be mostly on the feet. And Moreno also could take him down as a backup. Yeah. It's hard to pick Erceg here. It is hard to pick Erceg. I'm an Erceg believer. I really do think he's going to do good things in the future, but this is going to be a tough loss streak for him. I think he's losing a decision against Brandon Moreno. He probably maybe a late TKO.
I could see it. Accumulation cut stoppage like against Figgy.
Yeah.
Sounds like we all think the Mexican fans are going home happy. If not the rich Mexican fans. Ticket prices are kind of insane for this. Like
what are they?
They're like nosebleeds are like 350, 400 USD for a fight night. But this is Mexico. I mean, the USD 350, 400 USD is not to an average person. That's not the same down there, But yeah, looking forward to it. Now I'm gonna jump in the regional minute real quick, some non-UFC action, and then we'll preview next week's card. So first, BKFC Fight Night. They've been going everywhere. They got 2 this week. Thursday at 8 p.m., 27th, Hollywood, Florida. Luis Palomino, former champion, is main eventing.
Oh wow!
Nobody else.
We've seen him.
It has been. Nobody else I really know. Maybe the BKFC hardcores do, but Palomino surprised me for a fight night. Budo Cento Championship 28, Thursday at 8 p.m. Christian Torres in the main event. He's a prospect. Our buddy Coots has been keeping his eye on. Champion. It's on Fight Pass, which is the only reason I mention it. Same for this card. Lux Fight League 51. Both of these are Mexico City cards, so that's probably why they're on Fight Pass. Leading into the Mexico City UFC card. A few guys on here, a few gals, nobody crazy that I want to talk about. Fight Pass, 7 p.m. Friday. LFA 205 is going down Friday at 8 in Brazil. UFC Fight Pass as well. It's, classic LFA Brazil. You got a bunch of just Brazilian names all up and down the card. And then Bantamweight Championship, Vinicius Perez. If he wins, well, either guy could probably make a contender series showing. Baraka 2 is going down Friday at 9 p.m. This is a funny one. This is like the best regional card this weekend, and there's LFA going on. There's like 12 former UFC, PFL, Bellator, or contender series guys. And this is it's a pay-per-view. I don't think anybody's going to buy it though. They got Tyrell Fortune and Jamel Jones. You remember Jamel Jones? They're fighting. Jordan Oliver, NCAA champion, the next Bo Nickel essentially.
What day is this?
This is Friday at 8 p.m. Mando Gutierrez from Contender Series is fighting Andre Ewell.
Oh gosh.
Do you guys remember Anthony Bierschak from the
Yeah.
UFC? He is fighting Nick Aguirre,
Oh,
former UFC fighter as well.
I remember him. Didn't he fight Peyton Talbot?
Peyton Talbot and Dan Argueta,
Yeah.
and lost both. And in the main event, you got a guy who was on the Fury card, plus Fumi too, but kind of a weird one. A lot of strange names that you didn't think you'd ever hear again. So
No.
sorry to give him so much time. BKFC Fight Night Manchester, second one going down Saturday at noon. Nobody really of note there. And then last but not least, Ryzen 50 Saturday, 11 p.m. Eastern if you want to stay up. They have their internet pay-per-view. Got it, Inoue, not that Inoue fighting. You got Chihiro Suzuki, Elise Gustavo, Spike Carlisle. If you like Japanese MMA, you know a lot of these names. But yeah, last but not least, UFC Fight Night, Emmett versus Murphy next week going down. It's a fight card. It's going down. You can tell. You look at this, the fight card alone. You can tell it's a Tapology card. So hopefully, maybe we get a few fights fall off. There's 13 fights right now, so it's a ton. You know how we do it here. I feel like I've been going to Will first for everything. Janie, I'll go to you first for this one. Early ranking or early, rating and favorite fight from the card.
So early rating, I mean, 10 out of 10, and I'm most looking forward to this banger heavyweight matchup between Kennedy and Chekchikwu and Martin Budai. Like, what are we doing? This is going to be an incredible barn burner back and forth battle right there. No, in all seriousness, no, maybe like probably the main event, but like Torres Finney's also debuting, so that might be cool watching him. They gave him a layup against Robert Valentine. He has no ground game.
No, that could be really good or really bad, man.
Valentine was a pretty. He was an exciting guy on Tough. I'm
Tough triple champion, right?
Tough triple champion,
wasn't it? Or Dana White Contender Series triple champion, Torres Finney.
Oh, Finney, yeah. Valentine. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting fight. Will, ranking or rating and favorite fight? I think I know where you're going.
I'll give it a 6, and I'm gonna go with my guy Gerald Mearshart. He's also always really exciting, better or worse. He's got a really legit submission game, and I don't think his striking's too bad either. Him and Tavares is a really weird matchup. I'll be honest, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if he hands Tavares his first submission loss. So I'm rooting for my boy Gerald.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm giving it like a C, maybe. I mean, you got some names. It's better than what was the UFC card 2 weeks ago? I'm already blanking here. This is how monotonous these things go.
Delize.
Yeah, Vittori Delize too. Need that third fight, the trilogy ASAP. It's slightly better, but it's also like
I'm also
nothing.
I'm also really excited for local guy. We got 3 guys back to back Philly guys, Pat Sabatini and Joe Anderson Brito.
Oh, that's good.
They're all from the same gym, and it would be really damn cool if all 3 of them get submission wins. So
you should have done a parlay before everything started.
I wish, man. That would have been nice.
All right, and then I think I'm going to pick Davey Grant and Daniel Santos. I think that one's going to be fun. Davey Grant, except for that Tampa card, that Tampa fight we were there, that was kind of a shitty fight, but for the most part, he's an exciting guy. So Daniel Santos, I think, can bring it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is it for this week. UFC Mexico, Moreno versus Erceg. Didn't keep it super nice and tidy, but we're gonna enjoy these fights. Hope you do too. Thanks for coming on. Will, anything to say before we head out here?
I don't know, man. Always looking forward to these fights for better or for worse. So,
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Jeannie.
Sir.
And then, Yeah, thank you for watching, for listening. Hope you enjoy the fights, and we'll see you next week.